it's come across my desk that several times that the universe will continue to give you the same kind of interaction with others until you have learned the karmic lesson. So it has something to do with the dynamics of the people, the relationships that you have with the people, and the patterns that keep repeating. And you're supposed to see something in that before the universe will let you pass. This is a third grade course, according to the current commentary that I'm reading. I'm trying to reflect on my own interactions with the beings and trying to understand why I have had several years of constant interactions with beings that are, well, quite often taken to fits of either great rage or fits of, um, what you call it? It's like unable to break free from their stupid routines. The routine is it's basically someone who does the exact same thing day in, day out. And you can talk to them about the fact that, you're not growing. The problem is that you do the same thing. And even though you recognize when I talk to you that you're doing the same thing, you still prefer to do the same thing over and over. The beings want to tell me that I am also one of these kind of people because I don't get on a plane and go to Tibet or something. In the event that I do go to Tibet, I'm going to tell the beings I'm in Tibet and I proved that I could come here, but it cost me a lot of money to come to Tibet, and in the end, I don't feel like there is going to be something in Tibet that I can't find right here in my own library, because I've got a vast library of interviews with people like the Tibetans and a vast number of YouTubes that I can't keep up with. There is so much information that, going on the great journey to Tibet seems like a great waste of money, and money is in short supply. Strangely, today, the beings that accompany me allowed me to read quite a bit. Highly unusual, because these beings distract me from reading and are able to remove my attention so that I can't even remember what I read in the previous paragraph. Who are these beings? They are non-physical beings from another dimension. I usually say they're lower astral. Sometimes they appear to be very intelligent, however. So again, it comes back to this question: why do I have this continuous relationship with these beings? Because this question keeps coming up. You're going to repeat your time with these beings until you can get to the root of what is the issue, what is the relationship that you've got with these beings, what is your lesson to be learned. And my lesson to be learned is you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. You can bring a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. You cannot gift people with a wonderful gift that they do not want to accept. I've been shown this a number of times recently, and it is, someone wants to say, fitting that once again, I am talking about this because all the beings in the human form that are around me um, do not want anything that I have to offer. And the non physical beings do not want anything I have to offer, although it is all freely available for them. Some might say, perhaps if I put a charge of $100,000 for a course, someone might find, well, if it's the price is that high, perhaps that's worth taking, because quite often that works with humans. I've got a demon named Jesus Edgar Martinez, who is clearing his throat because he thinks that perhaps I've said enough. If you have the experience of someone who is like Edgar, um, you don't like an Edgar in your life. Edgar is very intrusive, belligerent, negative, uh, narcissistic, psychopathic, uh, incredibly stupid, although sometimes can seem to pull out some creativity out of his ass after a long period of just being snarky and horrible and unpleasant. So, my karmic lesson from the universe with all of the people on planet Earth is that they're completely oblivious to life, and they're completely oblivious to anything except um, their conditioned existence. They are like conditioned pigeons that you would train in a Psych 101 course at any university. Incredibly stupid beings, incredibly narcissistic and psychopathic, all about getting more money and things for me, another notch in my belt. But I really do fail to see why the universe continues to give me more and more of these beings, because there's really nothing you can learn from these kind of beings other than they're toxic and avoid them. On planet Earth, it's basically impossible. It's completely impossible to isolate yourself from toxic beings. And in my case, I cannot isolate myself from the toxic non-physical beings. So, the karmic lesson, it's unclear what they're trying to get to me and why they keep bringing this up. I don't know what the karmic lesson is. Why is my karma to be here on planet Earth at this time? It's beyond me. It's beyond me. Planet Earth is the last place I think I belong. So that's why I'm here, to show me, okay, you think you know where you want to be. We're going to send you to some place that you'll know is not correct for you. So you really get a good feeling for you're in the wrong place. And quite often people who are on a path of love and gratitude and wanting to improve themselves come to the same conclusion that they want to go home, and whatever home is, it sure as hell ain't here. Going into nature and away from people is sometimes the best escape that people can get. The natural world, getting away from the cities and the hustle and bustle of idiotic people. I'm also reminded of the movie Lost Horizon, which is an older movie, and the beings are hiding the name of the author, the book, etc. Why did they do that? They just love to get their points across. And for the rest of you, you can do your homework and look for an old movie called Lost Horizon. It's the same idea. A bunch of Europeans leave London, where they hang around in clubs and read newspapers. And that's what people do today. People read articles on the internet, and that's what they call research. In Lost Horizon, people go to the drinking clubs and they read newspapers, and that's how they become educated about the world outside. But some travel to the Far East and get enmeshed in some kind of a war, and the next thing you know, they're flying into the Himalayas and they land in a completely different world. You can find this movie if you try hard enough on the internet. Perhaps you could find it using one of those torrent sites. Lost Horizon. Yeah, it's made by a famous director that I can also not tell you at the current moment. Why do the beings do this to me? They torture me. They show me that I am not in control. The predator's mind is what Carlos Castaneda called it, and these beings are predators, and they have technologies that can cloud your mind and hide things from you, your memories, and make it even difficult to do simple arithmetic in your head, even though something that you could do when you were not under their influence. So they don't want to get too much into why they are, other than the fact that they can do these things, and they want you to know that this is basically the world that you experience as well, because when you work for the man for the money, you're not doing what your soul wants to do. You're doing what the man wants you to do. And I think of the number of stupid jobs that we have in our world: insurance agents, real estate agents, accountants, clerks at every kind of store. These are all incredibly stupid jobs because they are basically uncreative jobs. They are perpetuating the prison that we live in, known as the Matrix, in the Matrix movies, Keanu Reeves, etc. So some of the authors have touched on Gurdjieff, and the problem with Gurdjieff is trying to read him is so difficult to get into what the heck he's talking about. I did listen to a long YouTube video about Beelzebub's tale to his grandson, and it was a very strange YouTube video. I don't know if it's still available, but if you look for Gurdjieff and Beelzebub's tales to his grandson, perhaps you will stumble across it. You can have a listen to it as I did driving around, and I also had a secondary audio track by Rumpelstiltskin. If you remember Rumpelstiltskin from Once Upon a Time, the ABC TV show, Rumpelstiltskin was a very strange man. And my Rumpelstiltskin was also a very strange man. He gave me a secondary audio track at the same time. And at the time, Rumpelstiltskin liked to give a highly negative kind of horror way of looking at things that still sticks with me today. But the whole point of it is that things are not as they seem in the Matrix. And if you remember in the Matrix, early in the Matrix, Keanu Reeves was working at a very boring computer job, and every chance he got, he went on to the dark net, and he was a computer hacker. And that's how he whiled away his time. But, that's kind of a stupid diversion, because the simple fact is that once he came to see that all of human society is the Matrix, it is all about keeping you from joy, keeping you bogged down doing stupid, inane jobs that, if you're on your deathbed, you say, why on earth did I do so many years? And I myself have done so many long years of doing incredibly stupid jobs, like being the clerk at the front desk of hotels and doing tech support for people's computer programs. A waste of a life. Yes, a waste of a life. And yet this is what we're all trained to do, to be someone else's slave, to do a stupid job rather than following the calling of our souls. And we don't even know what the callings of our souls are because we're so highly conditioned by our schoolings. We're told what to study and we're told what it means, and then we move on before we even have a chance to, go over it in our minds. And then, at an early age in our teens, we're introduced to alcohol, and it becomes a great fascination to get together with our friends and to get loaded, and which totally disconnects our ability to think. And this is the pattern that people carry forward with throughout their adult lives, doing some horrible, stupid job day after day that they hate. And then they go home and they immediately hit the bottle of booze or various other drugs. And that goes on until their retirement. And then they just hit the booze even harder. Some people travel a little bit. Um, but even these people, it's kind of like the package tours. We're going to see all the highlights of Paris and Rome, and then we're going to go out for a lovely dinner and get into the wine again. So do these people actually learn anything? Are they reading great novels of the country that they're visiting? I highly doubt it. I'm Bob Frizzell.